welcome everybody to the Geek and I podcast. My name is John, and we are down half. I'm not doing numbers again tonight. We're down to a few less people. Debbie is under the weather. She is down in sick bay, and who else? Oh, Jeff is still on assignment. Don't know where he is. He beamed down to a planet, could have split in two. I'm not quite sure. But we have the rest of our great panel, and joining us again for the first time in a while, Mr. Bill Victor. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you, John?
It is so good to see you. I see you got your likeness behind you.
Yes.
And you are the resident geek tonight.
Oh, and the red shirt geek.
And so you're not coming back after this, I guess. So tell us what you've been doing for the last 3 or 4, 5, 6 months.
Actually, the Hollywood strike was last year, so I had a lot of time off. I did get to film one movie called Cursed Waters, and it's a horror film. Which is really, really cool. And then I missed the last 2 episodes because I was filming the Highgate Vampire, which was in the UK. And it's based on true stories, or stories, I should say, about vampires and ghosts at the Highgate Cemetery. So stick around for some pretty scary shit.
Yeah, when can we expect that?
Probably in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what's happening next in Hollywood? Are you guys going to be on break again because of the other union?
It is just crazy. You know, I'm just trying to find work and get my projects going. So we're just hanging by a thread, just trying to make sure we can get our project going and just do what we want to do.
Now, is that something that if you start a project first before it happens, you can finish it, or do like they just walk off the set?
So if they're true to the union, they will walk off the set. My last film, we were in the middle of filming when it struck, and everyone in the group said, "Let's just finish this movie." So we did it in secret, where we didn't know, no postings on social media, nothing, because that was the whole SAG thing. Like, you can't post or do movies while we're on strike. So we just did it in secrecy.
Well, now you just let everybody know. So I guess
it's an independent film.
I hope you enjoyed your career.
Yeah, it's an independent film.
The internet is known for secrecy, so we should be fine.
Yeah.
Well, you can just say you didn't remember finishing the movie, and apparently anybody buys that now. That's the excuse of the day.
Yeah. It was kind of sad. I only did one movie. That was kind of sad.
Yeah. And the last time, geez, was that right after your boat cruise?
Yeah.
I think that was the last time you were on.
That was the last time.
Yeah. Marty, how are you doing? How's it going this week?
Hanging in there.
That's it? You got nothing?
That's it. Well, no, I did spend a good part of this afternoon pulling up a file, which of course now is not opening up, where we have production order versus air date order.
Okay.
So I don't have to go through these mental gymnastics every week. And even I was surprised when I looked at it, how that first season was really askew as far as production and air date order.
All right, what do we have for tonight? What is the prod and the air order?
So the production order for this one is actually earlier than the air date. And again, the file is not opening now. So, I apologize for that. So let's just call it question mark. And if I can get it to open up by the end of the episode, I'll let everyone know.
All right. That's the way that's how you do it. That's how you do it in show business. You tease it and make everybody wait until the end.
See, I'm learning.
And then so what did you guys, let's do a quick thoughts, no reviews, no big reveals of the episode. What do you guys think? What'd you think of this episode, Bill?
I actually liked it. Just for Kirk himself as an actor.
How many times have you seen this one?
Oh my God. At least 10, right? You see it in all the reruns every single time. Like, oh my God, I've seen that episode.
Marty, what about you?
Well, again, conservatively, over the course of 50 years, I've probably seen it over 100 times. And yes, I actually enjoy this one a lot, especially for early season 1. I think Shatner puts in a really great performance, a little bit more so on the reserved half than the animalistic half. Yeah, so you know where I'm going with that. But I think the episode only works because of his performance.
Yep, totally agree.
And as someone I was talking to today about this particular episode jokingly called it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Spock. And I said, actually, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it hit all the notes it needed to hit. Some problems, again, I think pacing wise, but nothing that it would really detracts from the overall episode.
Yeah. This is the first one where I actually was able to watch it from beginning to end. I've had to watch the first, what is this, number 5?
Yep.
So I've had to watch the others in, little chunks, because the way it happens for me is I'm so used to these characters as the way they were when I started watching, and when they were all already defined in the actor's mind. And, watching number 5, you say, okay, they're still finding themselves. They're really not comfortable. They don't know what they really want to do. But this one really Spock felt great. And like he really knew what his character was. Bones was awesome. And of course, what can you say about Janice Rand? I mean, she's always there at the top of the list. Best actress.
Hottie.
So let's get into the episode and see what we have. So where are we in space?
We're right there.
Just an unknown planet that they're beaming down to?
The remastered version.
Yes, the remastered version. Okay.
So they go down and they let us know that at night it gets very, very cold in space. And Sulu is holding this. I guess this is, you can just call this the horn dog.
Yeah, I don't know what that beast is called.
It's amazing that this was passed off as a space alien in 1966. That one picture with this look on Sulu's face holding it, it's like I expect the Sarah McLachlan music to start playing, for 3 Federation credits a month. You can help save, rescue a horn dog animal.
Angel.
Which I bet that horn dog animal has a higher star meter than me on IMDb.
we can look that up and see.
Yeah. You probably even got a trailer.
He's got 10 photos to your 8.
Yeah.
So this guy here in the blue, he falls down a mountainside, right? And cuts his hand and gets covered in this I don't know, golden ore. And they beam him back to go take care of himself. And I guess, do we know? Do they mention right? We don't find out until later on that this golden ore is an issue.
Well, Scotty tells him he's got to decontaminate his clothes.
Oh, so, right. Because there's something going on with the transporters, and we get the red flashy light.
Yeah.
That says there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's magnetic, and then he asks. He says there's some kind of, I don't know, what is it, a displacement or something that happens. And when Kirk beams aboard, he comes through, but then he kind of stumbles. So you kind of know something's up.
Yeah, which, by the way, nice stumble out of the transporter. It was just enough to kind of, he didn't oversell it, let me put it that way. And it was nice to see the prop from the Naked Time reused here in the transporter room. It's the same one that shower curtain Spock used.
Which one is that?
The gun Scotty was just holding. The previous.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The big blue one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire hydrant in the can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That and I guess it does the same function.
I think it takes on many functions as we go forward.
This is version B.
Yep.
So he falls down, and Scotty's like, "Yeah, we gotta take you over to see Dr. McCoy." And it's funny that Kirk says, "Don't leave the transporter room unattended." And Scotty's like, well, it's only going to be a minute. And in that minute, we see it starts up on its own.
Like, how did he know? How did Kirk know?
And of course, the transporter was set on dramatic materialize.
Yeah.
So we could have the back, which I don't think we've ever seen again, anybody beam up
backwards
facing the wall.
Yeah. Well, how would you know? Like when when you're standing there and when you're beaming down, they're always facing the camera. How would they know which way?
A nose sensor, so they kind of figure where the nose is pointing would be forward.
Okay.
And then we get dramatic lighting and drama Kirk.
Which is awesome. This is one of my favorite scenes right here.
And one of my favorite musical cues in the entire show. Now, what's missing?
Looks like that red light is missing. Is that warning light missing?
No, his insignia is missing.
Oh, good catch.
Oh, yeah.
His Delta shield. I never noticed that.
Now, was that to differentiate the two, or did they just forget to put it on there?
Oh, it was a screw up. Because later the technician who beamed up, I think, is also missing his insignia. They sent them out to get cleaned and brought them back, and no one put the things back on.
Prop department, you're fired.
Yeah. Which I guess is better. Yeah, see? No Delta.
This is the one they tell everybody, please don't rip. So then I guess this is what confused me here, because until he changes, I didn't know which one this was. So apparently this is Good Kirk.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
You can tell by his demeanor.
He's going
Kirk
in the...
Prime, if we can call him.
Huh?
Kirk Prime.
Okay. And he's going to see Janice for some reason, just to say hi and I'm back. And
actually, that's his quarters.
Oh, she's hanging out in his room?
Yeah, she has the reports for him, and she leaves, so I hope it's not her room.
But she looks so surprised.
So then we go back to the fall down guy, who's having I don't even know what is that, like a Bunsen burner, like a
it looks like a hand torch.
Yeah, like a hand torch, and is he like soldering the wound closed, or
probably
some high tech medical equipment, and then probably the most amazing piece of medical gear in the entire ship. We have the spray bottle.
Yeah.
With, I don't know, I can only imagine if that's like Palmolive dishwashing liquid.
Yeah. Or fruit juice.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, it's not that high tech. I think I got that underneath my sink.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we don't buy our medical supplies at Dollar General. Okay, so, I thought he was going to kiss him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so evil Kirk. Oh, that's okay. So we have Kirk Prime and Kirk
Squared.
Squared? Is that how it would?
I guess. Yeah.
Evil Kirk.
So he goes down to the doctor, and not only does the doctor have a welding torch, a spray bottle, apparently he also keeps a big cabinet full of brandy, just for those
for medicinal purposes.
Medicinal purposes.
Hang out on this ship. That's where all the cool stuff is.
Medicinal purposes. So Kirk Squared decides to have a drink and get wasted. Wait a second.
What? This is the old front I was telling you about.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep.
Where'd you get that?
Oh God, eBay about 20 years ago. She's in a little rough shape, but she's one of the prizes of my collection.
That's nice.
Yep, leather is still in pretty good shape, although the handle's starting to get a little worn out. But yes, I broke it out just for this occasion.
Cool.
That is that's pretty sweet. What's in it? Nothing?
50-year-old dust.
Oh, so then it's a good thing you strapped your lips around it.
So no liquid though, right?
That explains the taste and the numbing.
So you're going to head off to 34C46? Is that like two-thirds of her measurements?
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I saw it.
So he heads over to Janice's place, and
well, it gets a little
rough.
Gets a little rough. And for a show in 1966, I was really surprised how rough it actually got.
Yeah, so they don't show him going in, right? They just show him at the door, And then we cut to Spock wondering why Dr. McCoy would say, go check on him. So he goes to Kirk's cabin, and there, this is week number 5, and he's got his shirt off.
Perfectly tanned in space.
Well, it's a lot of radiation.
You fly too close to those suns sometimes. You let the shields down for 5 minutes. You got a nice base tan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or you just hang out in engineering with the warp core.
Yeah.
So Spock tries to explain, you didn't go, he's like, I've been here all the while. I didn't go. You didn't go get brandy. And so they go down to engineering, and Space Dog is in Scotty's arms, and Scotty tells everybody the transporter seems to be broken because we beamed this thing up, and we also got this thing, which is your typical little dog.
So, interesting story about this little dog. You know how they got the ferociousness? They decided not to feed it for like a day and a half and then poke it with a stick.
Oh, wow.
Which would not be done these days. But yeah. This also marks the first time we see Kirk's green wraparound tunic, which they specifically did for this episode, but obviously carries over, especially into the second and third seasons.
Yeah, I don't know which again, it has no delta. Is it just like loungewear?
I think the delta's on the belt.
At the bottom.
So the wrap comes around and it's on the belt side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now they're trying to figure out why we got 2 dogs now, one mean and one normal, or one nice and one normal for little dogs.
So we have Dog Prime, and now we have
Dog
2. Yeah.
Then we go back to Yeoman Rand's place, and this is where it gets. I mean, it was almost too difficult to watch. It's especially the way TV would be made today. I don't know if does this fly in today's.
This is kind of like stalking, right?
I think it's over the top. And again, especially for the time it was done, I can't imagine, hey, kids, get the family together. We're watching Star Trek and then watch a near rape during prime time. Yeah, I would tell you the truth. I'm very surprised in this day and age that when this episode plays that there isn't some kind of trigger warning at the beginning. Because, again, the acting in the scene with Grace Lee Whitney and William Shatner, I thought was just phenomenal. I feel like during this whole interaction, I'm not watching anybody act. And I did have to laugh at the dirtiest mirror in all of the galaxy in the background. Obviously done to prevent the reflection of the studio lights, but don't ask me why. My eye went right to it.
Probably the camera standing right there, right?
Yeah, the little multifaceted side mirror. It looks like it was either sprayed or they smeared something on it to prevent the reflection.
Yeah. And they couldn't just take that out with CGI back then?
Well, there's a couple of things that I would tell you, being that this is a remastered edition, that I felt minor things, but they could have fixed. Like, for example, the missing delta and a couple of other errors that we'll see later.
So she scratches his face. And this kind of gives us, not only do we have now Kirk with scratches in yellow, we have Kirk in green. So now we're differentiating. And then pretty soon, I think we'll see evil Kirk with mascara.
Yes.
Yes.
His eyes just look like they keep getting darker and darker over the course of the episode, the meaner he gets.
Emo Kirk. Now, what is the possibility that in a ship of over 400 people, that the guy who fell off the mountain just happens to be passing Rand's cabin during this attack?
It's in script.
And he's so clean. Like he got a brand new uniform right when he got to sickbay.
Yeah, and I think he's missing his insignia.
Well, see, now I thought that to me that looked like a jumper that wouldn't have an insignia on it, but I don't remember in the beginning.
I don't think he had it on the planet.
Did he have it on the planet?
I think he did. I went back to my source book, and it said his uniform and Shatner's uniform both came back without whatever they had on it. Actually, go back to the transporter one; it might be more visible.
Yeah, he doesn't have.
Wait, go back one more. All right, I'll have to see. I may have the character wrong, but there were two.
Because the red one doesn't have a delta either.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like a work tunic, like at a.
And where was this guy? He should have been there attending the transporter.
Oh wait, he shows up again. Again, we have two extras who just happen to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
On a ship of 400 people, we reuse the same two guys.
Well, this guy was sent off by Scotty to go get a hydro spanner.
Oh, that's right.
And now, they didn't have one because Chewie had it.
Going back to this, he says that acted like a burnout. Let's check the whatever it was he tells him to check. That guy leaves, and Scotty goes ahead and beams his boss up anyway before they have a chance to check it out.
Well, because he said it. He says it seems to be working now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it seems to be working now.
That to me, that's just, again, I know we're early, but no good engineer is going to say, that's really strange. Let's put a human being through it now.
It seems to be working now. Let's try it. Captain, you ready? I've always wanted this ship. He's looking for a promotion. So this guy is going to go warn Spock, and he runs, and then evil Kirk chases him and just beats him to hell. But he gets the call in, so I don't know, does maybe
12.
And then Spock says, "Yeah, you didn't want this brandy when you left sickbay." He's like, "Well, I wasn't in sickbay." And then they're gonna go down to sickbay, and then we get this. It was a pretty cool edit to. Yes. To go from the doors closing and then immediately to the hand coming out with the paint on it.
Yeah, I thought the writing was really good.
And now his shirt has the Delta on it.
Yeah, you can barely see the Delta under his ribs, I think.
Right here. Looks like this right here.
Yeah. And I think as they refine that, it comes forward a little bit more.
Yeah, the lighting looks horrid. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
who did the lighting for this episode?
The same person that did my room. So he's talking to Rand, and he's like, I wasn't there. I was in my room the whole time. And then the unluckiest guy in this episode says, "No, you were there. You beat me up."
Yep.
I said, "Beam me up, Scotty, not beat me up." So then Kirk gets the nice dog. They're not really doing anything with him in this one yet, right? They're just holding on to him, and because they don't want to put him through yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, because they're still trying to figure out what the issue is.
Yeah. Why is there two?
And
Yeah.
tell us what's happening with the two Kirks. Bill, what's going on between those two?
I think they're trying to figure out who they are, and they're just, in my opinion, they're kind of going, the evil Kirk is just trying to, what am I doing here? And he's like I think he's like sweating more and more and getting darker and darker. Whereas calm Kirk, he's trying to figure out, I don't quite feel very like a leader or a captain. I'm just kind of here.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to
Command.
He is like Jonathan. What is it? Is it Jonathan Harriman?
Yes, John Harriman.
John Harriman, who from the Enterprise B, who has no idea how to save the Elorians. Is it Elorians?
Elorians.
Yeah.
He lacks initiative, lacks like desire to do anything. Just kind of bumping along, walking.
He's always second guessing himself.
Yeah.
It's like.
And to Shatner's credit, this is where, to me, the episode really succeeds, is as we proceed through, Kirk Prime is getting more and more docile, more and more indecisive, and Kirk 2 is getting more and more aggressive, more and more feral. And I think one of the brilliant things that Bill Shatner does in this episode is, and I watched it very carefully on my second watch, his body language. Kirk Prime is always kind of down. His body's very tight. Kirk 2 is walking around like a feral cat. Annoys, and he turns around like that. I thought it was really very inspired choices. Kirk 2 maybe a little over the top, but I think that's only to really highlight the difference between the two. I mean, it's very hard to do over the top subdued. I mean, it doesn't work because usually it just comes off as a caricature. But yeah, I really enjoyed what he did here.
Yeah, I mean, he took the fear and really played through all the fears that he had as the aggressor. Like, I can't hold back. I got to do this. A lot of anger.
Somebody digging a hole somewhere?
Yeah, it's my German Shepherd right here. It's right under my desk digging a hole. Sorry. Sounds like someone's trying to escape.
Yeah, I thought it was mine above my head.
So Kirk gets on. Good Kirk gets on the intercom, and he's like, "There is an imposter on board. Please don't kill him. Just capture him. He must survive. Just so you know, I'm the real Captain Kirk. He is an imposter." And then that's where we get this. You can see the eyeshadow. Is it eyeshadow? No, that's the eyeliner. Yeah, the eyeliner coming in, and he's just getting more and more. He's going crazy, basically. Because I guess he doesn't have that conscience inside of him, and he is just trying to control every situation.
Well, it's the alpha predator. He's got to be in control without that voice of reason.
Definitely, the darker side is really coming out.
And this is where we get the great monologue of 4 lines all the same. Did you think that was over the top a little bit, or do you think it fit the character at this point of the episode?
1 fits the character. 2 is pushing it. 4 is knocking it into the stratosphere.
And the music is great.
Yeah, I wonder how many takes that took to do that. He's probably saying, no, not dramatic enough. Let's do it again. Let's shoot that shot again.
I almost think and this is the one acting choice which I thought was odd. I thought it would have been better had he started lower. I'm Captain Kirk. I'm Captain Kirk. And then kind of built up. But we went straight to 4 and then just continued at 4.
I bet you he did that on one of the takes.
Maybe.
Then the director said, I like that one better. I bet you he probably did low to high.
Well, Shatner is renowned for screwing up takes that he didn't want to do. So, that's probably an all him decision to go that way.
Yeah.
So you have the director going faster, more intense.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Sounds like somebody else we know.
I love the lighting also. There's just a lot of shadows.
So, here's our transporter technician. Again, wrong place, wrong time.
And what is that? What is he holding? Is that like a caulking gun?
That's a good question. I have no idea what he's holding. Some kind of space tool.
So then this is where the episode really starts to get into the meat and potatoes, because you have crew down on the planet that they can't beam because of the transporters are out. But I'm thinking to myself, don't you guys have a shuttlecraft? Can't you just fly down there and pick them up? Can you call a space Uber?
So I think the shuttle was still in concept, if I remember correctly. They hadn't really developed the prop for the shuttle or the idea of a shuttle on the Enterprise yet. At this episode is what I learned.
Yep.
So they only had a transporter.
Yep. They had a shuttle bay, no shuttles. They're being delivered Tuesday.
Yeah.
And because it was an expense that they were trying to kick down the road. They knew they wanted one, they just didn't have the money for it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think, if memory serves, that when they finally do get the money, a chunk of it came from AMT, the model company, for exclusive rights to manufacture the model kit. So the other question is, okay, so we're beaming stuff up and it duplicates. We can't beam anything down?
Well, Spock says that later on in the episode, is like, we beamed down some thermal heaters, but they duplicated and didn't work. See, now I would think if you beamed them down and they duplicated, the same thing would happen, where one is really, really hot and the other is really, really cold. If we're splitting things into yin and yang.
Like when Sulu mentions we could use some hot coffee, I'm like, these sadistic SOBs aren't even beaming them down hot coffee. So maybe one's iced coffee, one's hot coffee, or one's like Starbucks and the other is like Folgers. I mean, and again, the science here gets a little wonky. I was actually laughing to myself today. I say, okay, so they're able to duplicate the mass of an entire grown person just with a different personality. I think a more artistic choice would have been have little people and do half mass of good Kirk and evil Kirk, because the science would make more sense.
Right, you split everything in half.
Everything in half.
He's wearing 2 left shoes.
I don't think they had a science person involved in the movie. I mean, into this episode.
Did they ever have a science person involved?
They did. Gene was very conscious about having people from NASA and that sort of stuff look at these things. And a lot of the writers, especially in season 1, were already well-established science fiction writers. This episode was written by Richard Matheson, who's one of the greats of the science fiction genre. And those guys in those days were very particular about making sure that what they were writing wasn't that far off. So, they didn't want to have, let's say, a room where holograms make things, into solid things. They were more concerned about the early space race and where we were going to go from that technology forward. So I think that a lot of times they get the advice and then ignore it for the sake of story. Now, what's interesting here is all this stuff with Sulu and the men being stranded on the planet was not in Richard Matheson's original storyline. This is all Gene who added this in.
Well, to me, it actually works very well because it ups the ante of the situation and how are we got to get these people back, but we don't know how to do it yet.
Right. And I agree with you. I think without having skin in the game for Kirk Prime to be forced to make the decisions that he technically shouldn't be able to make right now. We see later in the episode, they remind him, the men, oh yes, we have to do this. Like they keep throwing that up to him, that there's a greater problem here than just this duplicate running around. You have men who are going to die unless we get a solution to this. So yeah, I think this is one of the few times where Roddenberry's interference in a script didn't do any kind of massive harm.
Right. And I don't know if anybody's ever been out when they made this show in 20 degrees below zero. But I mean, I go out when it's 53 outside and I'm freezing like Sulu is here.
Yeah.
So
not enough science in that sentence right there. I mean, I think it'd be a lot worse than that.
So then we have the Spock explaining, we tried to send down the thermo heaters. They duplicated and didn't work. So they're trying to find evil Kirk, and they're like, where would you go? Where would you go hide if you didn't want to be found? What part of the ship would you guys go to?
Ten forward.
Is there a 10 forward?
I would think there'd be a 10 forward. I don't know. I'd be at
this is a cool set.
I would go where nobody apparently goes, the science library. Yeah, I tell you, they knocked it out of the park with engineering. I actually wrote this down when I watched it, that you really get a scope of how massive it is or how massive it should be. that equipment to the right there, we never really see again. And they're actually able to go through it and behind it, and it really gives that sense of how big this section is. I like that.
Yeah.
Now the thing behind the screen, I'm guessing that's like forced perspective.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not really 50 to 100 feet long. It's short, but it looks massive when it's on camera.
Yep.
So it's actually a great feat of filmmaking. This whole episode.
Yeah, the sets are amazing.
I mean, even look at the panels in the background, how high they're extended up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool the way they design the ship, and I would love to go down to Georgia and see Vic Mignogna's setup that he's got down there.
Is that the neutral zone?
He's got all these sets built.
Well, I'm going up to the Ticonderoga one, the official one, probably in April.
Is there an event going on?
No, it's just this was a I got tickets as a gift pre-COVID, nice. And then we had to keep kicking it down the schedule, so we're just going to go in April.
Nice.
Now, did you say they're doing an Enterprise D soon, or?
Yeah, he's working on the Enterprise D. At least the bridge I know he's working on. I don't know how much space he has there. From the pictures I've seen, the exterior, it appears to be an old supermarket. So, yeah, he's also working on a replica Batmobile. You know, he's just dying to see that as well when he's done with it.
That's cool.
And that's the Kirk with the black hair.
Yes. James Cawley, excuse me.
Right. And that's Star Trek Phase 2.
Yeah.
So here we see a set of boots that are made for walking, and they come jumping down, and it's our overacting Kirk. And here he is sneaking up again. He likes to loom in the background, like either Scream or Michael Myers.
I did like the phaser belts that they had to match the brown versus the green. I thought it was kind of a cool color. Very cowboyish.
Yeah. That's pretty neat. And then you have, there's the Delta.
Yeah.
Better shot of it.
Yeah, a little bit more prominent. And if you notice, go back to that. He's behind that screen. There's actually a screen that Evil Kirk is behind. That was a leftover piece from the cage in the briefing room. They were all around the table. They were able to reuse that. And pretty effectively, because it really kind of blurs out the details on the double in the background.
Yeah, there's some issues I have with the double later on when they're fighting, but I guess it is what it is when you. But there's also some really, really great two-person
opticals. Yeah,
opticals. Yeah.
Only thing I found distracting was that the double is easily 5 to 6 inches taller than Shatner in some of those scenes. So it kind of took me out. If it's supposed to be a duplicate, why is he 6 inches taller?
Casting department.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we see Spock do the Vulcan neck pinch, right?
He did it in last week.
Oh, he did.
Let's not get into production air date episode, but this apparently was the first time it was shot.
First time it was shot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a second.
Oh, I opened a can of worms.
So the one we watched last week with Sulu and the sword, that was after this one in air date?
I believe so, yeah. And when I get that file, I will share it with the group, so we're all on the same page.
Okay. Still hasn't loaded. What are you on, like a 1998 compact?
No, I'm getting a 404 error, so I don't. Maybe the site's down. So, yeah, like this is a beautiful optical.
Yeah, this is great. You can't really tell where the line, because usually you can see where the line is. Now, is this shadow, or is this like the legs, and then they said, well, we're going to have to move it over a little bit?
You know, I would have to go back, because this is the remastered one. This may be cleaned up. I'd have to go back to my unedited versions to see if it looks that good. But I thought this was just a great composited scene.
I think they cleaned this one up.
I would probably lean towards that as well.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find something. Let's see. It's hard to tell. I'm looking at one that you can't tell if it's original or not. Looks exactly the same.
Yeah, but for the time, it was technically pretty good.
Yeah. Well, some of the old school guys who would cut that stuff together, the guys who did it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who tried, it was bad. Like, you'd see half a foot disappeared where the film, seamed together.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this is fantastic.
Was that last week?
What was last week?
I don't know. I was watching something with a dog. Weren't you telling? Didn't we discuss that last week with the dog, and then the leash goes off in the wrong direction?
Oh yeah, what were we talking about?
Because the dog didn't like somebody, or got too rough with one of the actors, so they, or maybe I was just I've watched so much YouTube that I don't even know anymore.
I vaguely remember this conversation, but as I was saying, my memory's so bad they're gonna have to get a special prosecutor on me.
Well, don't worry, you'll be fine.
That's what I figure.
So then we have Spock kind of explaining what's happening to the two Kirks. He knows that they've been split in half, and he's the one Kirk is losing the power of decision, and the other Kirk is just getting worse and worse. And then we cut to Scotty. Now, this is where Evil Kirk shot the phaser, correct?
1 in a million shot. Yes. He
just
happens to hit the transporter circuitry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't. I mean, they could have just put it in a different part of the ship where the error was, and said Scotty, during his thorough check through, found that part of the ship that was bad and instead of just having it a lucky shot with a phaser. But
I just love that it's all wires.
And it'll take a week to fix.
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but that doesn't look like a week's worth of work.
Well,
especially in the 23rd century, I would think.
I mean, just get some duct tape, just duct tape it together.
Yeah, is Scotty union? Because then, if he's union, then it might take a week.
Well, you know what? It's going to take them 3 days to put the little orange cones around it. So, or is this Scotty just trying to, are we getting foreshadowing where he's multiplying his repair factors by a factor of 6? This will take 20 minutes. Tell him it'll take a week. Okay. Oh, and here's Sulu getting under the covers with 3 men.
It's now 41 below zero.
Okay, death. That's death.
Yeah.
Is that below absolute zero? Or
No.
is that...
No, absolute zero is way, way beyond that.
Right, because freezing is 32 or 0 Celsius, correct? Are they using Celsius in space in 1967?
They should be, but they did reference Fahrenheit earlier in the episode. He says at night it goes down to 75 below Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm assuming this is in Fahrenheit. Still pretty damn cold.
So this was like an English colony, and everything's in feet and yards, and then the next planet over.
It's imperial. Yeah.
I guess they didn't have a medical doctor on staff as a consultant to say, well, what would the body do in this type of weather?
Crack.
Yeah, it would break off in little pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Sweaty Kirk is yelling. He's terrified.
Yelling or singing? It's sometimes hard to tell, but
he's terrified of what might happen to him. And then here's another one where he gets so close, and then they do a perfect edit to where he grabs his hand on a close-up.
And this is when we find out that this Kirk is dying, for lack of a better word. He's losing the will to live.
Losing the will to live, yeah.
Yeah.
See, now, is there any way you would have changed? Would you have been able to see? Because I think if you, like you do, you cut a hole in the bed here under the strap and have somebody else's hand come out, you can actually have him grab the hand and then film the other Kirk with his hand going in under the bed at the same spot and then splice those two together.
Budget-wise, it probably would have been a lot more money.
You think so? Instead of doing
to cut the bed and go under, and I think it probably just would have been more time. From a time perspective, it would have cost them time, and in the business, time is money.
Yeah.
So they probably just said, let's do it easier. But yeah, they could have definitely done it that way.
I'm surprised they didn't use like a dummy.
Well,
Martin, when were you born? So I don't think Martin was around, but so we have Evil Kirk, Sweaty Kirk, pretending that he's going soft. He knows the plan. He's got a plan to escape.
And Kirk Prime falls for the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we have
Here's our alien.
So then they beam the two dogs down, and when they come back, we get our first utterance of the line, the famous line, "He's dead, Jim." Correct? Is that the first? That's
First time. Yep.
First time?
Very first time.
And is that one of the ones that people say he never actually said, like, "Beam me up, Scotty," or
no?
Is that?
I think if you look, there are compilation videos every time that DeForest Kelley utters the line, "He, she, or they are dead." So yeah, he repeats it quite a bit during the show. Scotty's lines, for some reason, often get misquoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have Sulu looking like Kung Fu Master.
Yeah.
With the white. He didn't get his coffee, but apparently he got his powdered donuts. And we cut back to the sick bay, and Evil Kirk is getting out of bed. They're gonna beam him down together to try and put him back together, and he fakes a slip and fall. And then there's a fight where Evil Kirk never turns around.
Now, look. If he was standing up straight,
he's taller.
He would be towering over him.
Yeah. And even the back. Look at the size of his back.
Yeah, well, this was his stand-in, his stuntman. So,
like a linebacker.
Hey, cousin Jimmy needed a job, right? So he stunt double.
He actually looks like Pike from behind.
Yeah, I was going to say this here. He looks like from the back. He looks like Vic from Star Trek Continues. And then he looks over here like he looks like Pike.
I'm really wondering if this is a different guy in these shots.
I think it's two different guys.
It has to be.
Yeah, this guy has more of a broader set of shoulders.
Yeah, and from the back, he actually looks a little bit like, from the shape of his head and the way his hair is cut. I'm wondering if that's Sean Kinney, who played the part of Wheelchair Captain Pike. He also played a helmsman in that 2-part episode, The Menagerie.
But Sean is a little bit thinner, though, I thought.
It could be, but I don't know. It's something about the way he's holding himself just reminded me of that. And here's mistake number 2.
Scratches on the wrong side.
Yes. Now, again, like, if you look where the viewer is in the background, mistake number 3, there's nothing on the view screen. He was
let me ask you this.
He should be facing the other way. He should be facing towards the door.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did they flip it?
They did.
Because
it was a mistake. It's a photographic plate flip.
He's looking this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see him this way, it looks like it's reversed.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, 100%. Same thing that in later episodes, The Way to Eden, when the shuttle lands, he's supposed to be looking this way. They didn't get the shot, so they got a shot of him looking the opposite way, flipped it. His hair's parted on the wrong side, and the delta's on the wrong side. And that was another spot where I thought the remastering editions could have done something better.
Well, there you go, because here's Kirk's part on the left-hand side. And here it is on the right-hand side.
And actually, John, in that shot, you can kind of see where he's wearing the toupee, or it doesn't match up. Yeah, right there. Go up at like a 35-degree angle. You could see it's short here. I'm pointing on the screen like you can see me. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there you can kind of see where it doesn't quite blend right.
So Evil Kirk decides that he wants to live. I want to live.
Great piece of acting.
And we're still flipped the wrong way. Look at those wrinkles.
Someone in editing said, "This looks better."
Now, I don't remember if this was before or after the Parent Trap, but they really missed a great opportunity to do a duet of Let's Get Together here in the transporter room before they're merged.
So let me ask you this. What would happen if Scotty didn't fix it? And now we got 4 Kirks.
Well, then I guess we kind of run into the Seven Dwarf situation where you'd have, grumpy, sleepy, sneezy.
Bashful.
I bet you one of the writers had that. Let's make him have 4 Kirks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they beam Kirk back, and when they realize Kirk comes back as a whole Kirk, he gets off and he says, "Beam up the rest of the crew," like an instantly making decisions like a captain.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who this was. This was one of the guys under Sulu's blanket, I guess.
Yes. Which they all agree would never speak of again.
And why couldn't they have beamed down jackets? Why just blankets,
Because some would be like too short and some would be too big, or too warm, too itchy.
One has a sleeve like this, and one has a short sleeves. So they're ready, and they take off.
Yep.
And Kirk is back to normal, and we go and fly away from this planet. Did they say what they were on the planet for?
Geological survey, I believe. Something very important the flagship of the Federation should be doing.
Now, is this back on this side of the Great Barrier, or did they actually make it through?
No, we're still on our side.
Okay. So we don't go through the Great Barrier until we see God.
Yeah.
That's right. We don't go back through that until that particular film. Yes.
And that's it. That's The Enemy Within. That so far on my list. That's the number 1 episode. My favorite by far. I'd give that one probably an 8 out of 10. It was a little long. It was a little draggy in spots, but it held my attention.
Yeah, William Shatner did a fantastic job in that character, playing the do role, which is kind of cool. I wish they did more like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. This was, to me, the first real Star Trek feeling Star Trek episode. I think Nimoy did a great job in that soliloquy he does, talking about the duality of man, the nature of man, where we get a very early glimpse of that scientist and philosopher in one that Spock eventually becomes. Some interesting notes on this one. And John, I would probably give it an 8 as well. Like I said, pacing, some of the things we're off at. It does kind of stray into camp sometimes, because I think it's very hard to restrain Bill when he's on a roll. But yeah, I thought everybody was note perfect. I thought, again, the scene with the assault in the cabin is still very jarring, very effective to this day. And it's funny. I actually was going through some old books. There's a story in one of the photo comics that basically explains that Rand left because of this. That she felt it difficult, given the events of this episode, every day to have to see his face and be reminded of what happened. And I thought that was kind of a brilliant way of tying it all in together.
So is she's in further episodes though?
She's in a lot of episodes in season 1, and then is phased out pretty quickly.
Didn't want anything to do with Eugene, right?
She, I don't know if you've ever read her autobiography, but she had a lot of addiction problems, both chemical, alcohol, sex addiction. She had a lot of personal demons, and that's kind of the reason officially that they always said that they kind of released her. She's quoted as saying that as much as she loves this episode, that scene with her at Spock at the end, where Spock is saying, "Oh, it's kind of interesting to see that side," or the duplicate had some interesting qualities. She actually pushed back against. She said, "Why would Spock be joking about the guy who tried to rape me?" It was really and he's saying it with a weird kind of grin on his face. And I think that did, in hindsight, that does detract a little bit from the episode because it's not really in Spock's character. But 8 out of 10. And kudos to the performances all the way around.
So,
there it is.
Oh, this is yours?
Yep, that's the one I have. Yep. So if we go down to,
so we haven't even we didn't even do this one yet, right?
Yeah. So that's production order number 2, and to the right, it's season 1, episode 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how they had
really out of sequence.
They had these in the can for a long time, then I guess.
Yeah. I think part of it too is like the Corbomite maneuver is more of a special effects driven show. So it might have taken longer for the opticals to be completed and the effects. I think the shows that had less of special effects heavy work were kind of thrown up front. And in the book, These Are the Voyages, there were a lot of last minute kind of schedule changes because the effects houses didn't deliver on time.
So what was the initial order for how many episodes for season 1? Did they order all 24 or 26?
I believe it was a full order, full 26.
It was a full season order?
Yep.
Because here's Enemy Within, which is number 5, and next week's is Mud's Women, which is number 6, but it's actually number 3.
Yeah.
So wasn't the Cage was number 1, right?
Well, this is well, the Cage didn't air, so
yeah, so it's not counted. It's actually
yeah,
episode 0 if you want to look at it that way.
And it's 29 episodes. Wow, man! If you get 10 episodes in a season nowadays, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. You get 10 episodes and wait 2 years for the next season.
Yeah, and the technology is there to probably pump these out quicker than what on digital than it is on working it on film.
easily, like you just think from sets alone, right? How much stuff now is done with digital backgrounds, where this stuff was having to be built or recycled or repainted.
Yep.
on
Practical.
a weekly basis with a 1 week shooting schedule. So you did Monday through Friday, 2 days down, Monday through Friday, 2 days down.
So let's see what we've done. Where No Man Has Gone Before, right? That was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But that was actually shown in
Order, right?
No,
3. That's three.
That's the third one.
Man Trap was 1.
Okay, yeah.
One, right?
Now let me ask you guys. You've seen all of these. I guess have you seen them in production or in air order? And which is better? Like, do we from now on start and go, okay, let's figure out a spot where we can swap over and we'll watch them in air order? Or is production order better?
I did a deep dive on this afternoon, and the consensus is production is better. I saw them in whatever order the syndicated packages were originally put out in. So I don't know if that was production order or air order. I would suspect it's probably production order because it's just easier to keep track of production order than when it aired.
I think it'd be kind of cool to see what the original looked like versus the remastered.
You have the originals on DVD?
Yeah.
Well, the Blu-ray collection, sorry, that's my transporter. The Blu-ray collection has both the remastered and the originals on it. And I know on YouTube, they were there for a long time. I think they're still there. When they first started to put the remastered into syndication, there were a whole bunch of comparison videos for each episode about what changed, what was enhanced.
And they had like commentary and stuff like that about the whole differences.
No, they would just put it up, and on the right side would be the remastered, and on the left side would be the original playing simultaneously. So you could just, at a glance, see what had been enhanced and what had been changed. Yeah, every once in a while this plays with my memory because I'll be like, wait, no, that's not right. Yeah. I just remember how excited I got the first time I saw the Enterprise incident, and they actually had a Romulan ship in there with the 2 Klingon ones instead of the 3 Klingon ships.
Sounds logical.
Says you.
So, Bill, what would you give it out of a 10?
I agree with you guys. Nate is one of my top 5 favorites for season 1. I mean, I love Shatner, so he's a true captain of Star Trek for me, and the performance was just outstanding.
I don't know what's different about this scene here. Yeah, I think we get a better view of his ship, possibly.
I don't know. I kind of like the original.
No. You know where you go? You know what's a great scene that's totally enhanced? Right there. Right there.
That's pretty funny. I do like the circuitry, though, better.
Well, that was more 1960s circuitry. I guess they're trying to make it look a little bit more high tech.
Yeah.
And just color saturation, I guess they're showing.
The planets are amazing on the remastered. plus
Yeah.
the ships.
That's pretty neat. I think I'd rather watch the originals though.
I think one of my favorite is in the Doomsday Machine, where we see the asteroids bouncing off the dead hull of the Constellation.
Yeah.
Oh,
You actually see the size of the Enterprise to the massive hulk of the Doomsday Machine too.
yeah. Yeah. I could watch that one on loop like 10 hours a day.
And how far away is that one?
Not this season.
No.
Is that 2?
Yeah, I think that's a season 2 episode. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got something to look forward to then, I guess.
And next week we are doing
It is Mud's Women, I think.
Mud's Women. Okay.
And we get a villain from Batman.
Yes. Colonel
yeah.
Gum.
What's his name?
Colonel Gum.
Gum.
Wasn't he the Egyptian guy too, or the Pharaoh in Batman? No?
Everybody, no, that was Victor Buono.
That's Victor.
Everybody gets these two guys confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Roger C. Carmel who played Harry Mudd,
I always get them confused.
not Dwight Schrute.
What else was he in? Because he does look very, very familiar.
He was on he did a lot of guest appearances in the 60s and the 70s. I would say his Batman appearance for people of our generation would probably be the second thing that he's most remembered for, besides his 2 appearances as Harry Mudd.
Now, was he in a Next Gen episode, or did they run into somebody like him, or?
No, he died in the early 80s. You're thinking of the outrageous Okuna.
No, because that's the Rocketeer.
Yeah. No, they sadly did not run into Harry. He was, I believe, was going to be possibly in Star Trek 3. That there were calls to bring that character back. Let me see. Oh, I can't.
You know what it is? I think isn't there an episode? I guess we just watch it. I Mud. Is there an episode called I Mud? Was he in 2 episodes?
Yeah, he was in 2 episodes.
Okay.
Mud's Women is his first appearance, and I Mud is his second appearance.
Okay, so then I'm thinking I Borg.
Okay.
Maybe that's where I'm getting them mixed up, because that's the one with you.
Yes, Hugh. And then he also made an appearance on the animated series.
Okay.
Voiced by Roger C. Carmel. I think it's Mud's Planet, if I'm not mistaken.
I might have that one in that Scholastic book that I have with the old comics. I'll have to check that. I'll have to check that one, because that sounds familiar. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are just about done. This was a shorty tonight, because you know what? What could you say? There's really nothing to nitpick about this episode. This was a really, really good one. Couldn't make too many jokes on this one, because it was entertaining. It was like I said, the first one that I was able to get through beginning to end in one sitting. And, Mud's Women, I don't know if is that more of a comic-y, funny-ish episode, or does it
No.
Get deep?
It's deep about roles of the sexes and attaining perfect beauty, and so it's a little heavy-handed. I Mud is more of a comical episode, but yeah, I find the ones that hold your attention, there's, at least for me, there's not too many opportunities to make jokes about. The ones where my attention starts to drift, that's when I start, writing furiously in my notebook.
Yeah, this one I think I had to watch it in 3 different segments. I couldn't see it through one whole episode. I just lost attention.
Mud's Women?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not bode well for me because maybe I'll never finish it if it's not that good.
Oh, you have to finish it. That's part of the assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're going to pass judgment, make sure you're passing judgment on the entire product.
Right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time on the Geek and I podcast. Thanks, Bill, for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys don't go on hiatus because of the IATSE union, but I heard that's not until March probably, and hopefully they get that all squared out.
Crossing my fingers.
Yeah, and we'll see you. Like if you want to come back next week, we'll be doing it again. Same. Evil Poodle time, same Evil Poodle channel. Awesome. And Martin, thanks a lot. What do you got coming up, Bill? What is it? Are you between films now?
I'm between, so I'm actually traveling in 2 weeks, and I'm just kind of kicking it right now.
So how did the Van Slenders do with that? They get a trilogy. Christmas was the third one, right?
Right. So. It is actually a big deal now, Raven Van Slender in Japan. They picked it up in December. They said, we want to show it on our TV, cable TV, for the next 8 months. So it's going to be there for 8 months. I'm like, oh my God.
Now,
so it's kind of cool.
Remind everybody what the adventures of Raven Van Slender is.
Alien Danger is a kid-friendly science fiction adventure about these scientists. And Raven Van Slender is a scientist who goes out there and tries to save planets and people, collect time crystals, and he just has fun on his adventures. He's like the luckiest guy. He's like Indiana Jones, but he's Asian.
All right.
And
are we getting a quadrilogy?
It's in the work. We've been looking at doing it like the fourth one. We're just kind of stumped because you always want to do the last one the best, and we're kind of stumped right now.
Why does it have to be the last?
I don't know. It just, I think four might be it. We think that it may be overplayed. We don't know.
Okay. So how does one audition for the fourth in the series?
You just call me and we can talk.
Okay. I'll get you their number, everybody. Martin, what do you got coming up?
We need more aliens. We need more aliens.
That's it. I can be an alien. I'll hang out with the purple one?
Purple. Oh, that's Tangi. A Russian dancer, ballerina.
Okay, and if you need an accent, I can always work on an accent.
Awesome.
So
your Boris Badnov is great. Moose and Squirrel.
Moose and Squirrel.
Moose and Squirrel. Yeah.
What do you got coming up, Mart?
Not much of anything. Gearing up for the Trek Expo here on the island in, I think it's late March, early April. So I hope to maybe score a couple interviews if I'm there. And I will take plenty of pictures. I'm still waiting for the confirmed guest list. And that's about it. I ordered myself the green wraparound tunic that I'll wear to this one because when we go up to Ticonderoga, that's the one I'm going to wear on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
So
that seemed like that. Watching those episodes, that was his favorite outfit to wear as Kirk.
It's funny. One of the reasons he liked it because as the show continued and the waistline started to expand, it was a lot more forgiving than the velour pull over top. So yeah, and also he stood out. He wasn't just another gold shirt.
Right.
He was the only green guy out there. So, yeah, that was the other reason Shatner preferred to wear that one, too. He felt he made him stand out.
And I think it's 2 weeks from now is the Texoma Comic-Con up in Durant, Oklahoma. And they just announced, I can't remember, like you say, Martin, it's the memory is the first thing to go, so I'm pretty safe from being prosecuted for anything. But I think she played Ezra Dax. Is it Ezra? Or Esri?
Esri. Yeah.
Esri, not the one from Star Wars.
Yeah, no, not Ezra Bridger. Esri.
Not right. Okay. Yeah.
Nicole DeBoer.
Yes. She's going to be there. She just they just announced her at the Texoma Comic-Con, so can't wait for that. And
my second favorite Dax.
Yes.
Don't tell her I said that. So.
Well, how many Daxes were there? There was her and Jadzia,
yeah.
and well, did we ever get to see who was the first one that they mentioned?
Curzon, yeah. He's a guy.
yeah.
Yeah, we saw him in a flashback when they took
right.
took the worm out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, second favorite Dax puts her right in the middle of the pack.
That's right. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's
not
an elite
bad.
club, that's for sure.
See, that's the way it should have been done. The transporter accident. So, Jadzia goes in, she comes out tall, and then comes out as a short Esri. You know, there's the size difference. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next time. This is the Geek and I podcast. Don't forget to find us on all the socials. I don't know the addresses. You'll just have to do your own homework if you want to talk to us. We will see you back next week. Federation Friday. Mud's Women coming up next week right here. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.